DW correspondent Rebecca Ritters there reporting from Haifa. Let's get some analysis now with Makram Rabah. He's an assistant professor of history at the American University of Beirut. Welcome, sir. How do you read Nasrallah's comments? Is it a warning shot, or does Hezbollah actually want war with Israel?
I genuinely believe that Nasrallah's statement yesterday reflects that of a drowning man who's trying to scare people into accepting that he has the ability to take on one of the most advanced armies in the region. The problem is that many of Nasrallah's claims rest on the fact that he assumes that Israel will launch a full-scale military operation. But if we are to monitor and to analyze what's happening, Israel are surgically removing the threat on its northern border by targeting high-ranking military officials within Hezbollah. If this continues, it is on its own sufficient to cripple many of Hezbollah's abilities. In addition to the fact that Nasrallah is betting that Iran's proxies across the region or across the globe will come to his aid. One has to mention that Nasrallah or his people have been hinting to the fact that Taliban even wanted to join the fight on the Levant. And all this is not realistic given the fact that if such a scenario does occur, Hezbollah will not only be fighting Israel, but it will be fighting the international community as well as the NATO.
You're talking about targeted attacks from Israel against Hezbollah, but many in Israel, not least among the military brass, say it's not a question of if, but when we'll see a full-blown war with Hezbollah. Is that the view in Lebanon as well?
Well, everyone is waiting for the real big war. Unfortunately, while they are waiting for this war, we are in the midst of a different type of war, as I mentioned before. And this is why I think that going forward, Israel will start targeting political assets within Hezbollah, and not only restrict its targets to the south of Lebanon, and even can go far as to attack Hezbollah's civilians' infrastructure. However, a full-scale war identical to that in 2006 is not even on the table for many reasons. First of all, as long as the Rafah operation is ongoing, I don't think that the Israeli army will launch two military operations at the same time. Yet, when we get to the point where the Gaza war is completed, we will have a new ball game and we will have a new playbook. Unfortunately, and this is something that the Lebanese do not understand, that Israel has been preparing for such a scenario on its northern border, and it has more reverence and more respect to Hezbollah's military capabilities, and this is why they will be ready when the time comes, and this will come at the expense of the innocent lives of the Lebanese people.
I wanted to talk about Hezbollah's military capabilities because of this video that Hezbollah released on Tuesday showing apparently a drone footage from over Haifa, and it claims to pinpoint, quote, sensitive Israeli military sites. What does that say about Hezbollah's capabilities, given that Nasrallah just claimed that the group has new weapons as well?
Well, the key word here is claim. Hezbollah and all of this so-called axis of resistance claims that it has technology. I genuinely believe that technology needs democracies. And many of these countries, be it North Korea, Iran, and even Hezbollah, they claim that they have cutting-edge weapons. The fact that they have been able to sneak in a small drone into Haifa doesn't really mean that they have the ability to destroy Haifa. In addition to the fact that such footage and such gimmicks and theatrics from Hezbollah, they give the Israeli army and the Israeli political establishment more reason to get its own people and to mobilize public opinion as well as the Biden administration behind them. Because if any potential attack against Haifa or even against the island of Cyprus, like yesterday's statement with Nasrallah, would also indicate that it will disrupt the maritime activities in the Mediterranean. And this is something that the international community does not want to have a new Houthi threat like the one at the moment in the Red Sea.
The kind of statements that we are hearing from Hassan Nasrallah, is that what Iran wants to hear as well?
Well, at the end of the day, Nasrallah is just a mouthpiece for Iran. I don't tend to agree that Hezbollah has its own mind or can actually operate independently of Iran. And certainly we have seen how the Iranians want a kind of a deal, and they just are trying to wait out the war in hopes that a future democratic administration in Washington, D.C. would allow them to go back to the old system. Whereas, in fact, I think everyone needs to remember that the world has changed after October 7, be it the Lebanon scenario or even the fact that many people have believed that the real threat was the nuclear weapons on the region. Was the recent events have proven that the real threat on the area and on international security are the proxies of Iran, and they will start to deal with this accordingly.
We'll leave it there for the moment, but thanks so much for joining us today. Makram Rabah, Assistant Professor of History at the American University of Beirut. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile,